Alright, quick studio tour. We're going to start on the outside and work ourselves in. This is directly outside the door, which you see right here. I've actually been working on this the last couple days with cleaning out the bench. I know it still looks pretty messy with everything, but I am working on cleaning out more and more of this. I've sold off a ton of different things. I have some like old stuff that isn't really worth anything, but still works, so I'm gonna create like a little computer system out here. And then I installed this big old guy off Amazon. It's a Bluetooth speaker, looks like a UFO, but I can listen to jams while hitting the weights. I've mainly been doing this every single day for just physical fitness, just getting back into it, and I've been really enjoying life, having a lot more mental clarity. So let's with that go into the studio here, and you can see a lot more has been done. Cleared this whole thing out. Excuse the balloons over here. It's my son's 18th birthday tomorrow. And I've been working on kind of minimizing a lot of this stuff. Setting up this over here to where I could do full-on interviews if someone actually wanted to come and interview. I had Lunduk here for an interview, but I would love to invite more people and do interview style things, but that's more just kind of future proofing or thinking about that. And then this over here, I kind of have to show you off camera. I'd love to just get right up close to this, but there's certain things about this setup that is kind of unique on how I do things now. Let me turn off the lights. And you'll see right here is a 3860 direct feed from these two M200s. They're actually pretty cheap cameras, about $500, so I'm not crazy cheap, but when it comes to mirrorless, that's about as bottom of the barrel as you get, with some nice lenses on them. I feed those directly into here, which is actually a Camlink Pro, and that is going really, really well. I absolutely love this setup. And I don't know if anybody else has ever tried this, but I was watching, or my son was watching, I think, a Markiplier video about him playing games, and he has an editor, I think his name's Lexian, and how he does the camera movements for effects or whatever it might be, and I've tinkered with it a little bit. I was really fascinated with, I think they're recording double and then feeding all that into just raw files and then syncing it in post, which ain't nobody got time for that. If I had a dedicated editor, maybe I could do that, but since I don't, I wanted to achieve that same effect and automate that in prior process and feed it all into one ProRes file so I could feed that directly into my Mac FCP or the Final Cut Pro. And it gets kind of complex from here, but by doing that, I have pre-built motion templates in my Final Cut Pro, and I actually can probably just go ahead and cut to the desktop now so you guys can see this portion of it. But I want to kind of just lay out how I do a direct feed of ProRes, and I'm able to do a lot more with my video a lot quicker than I think pretty much anybody else in the world, because I have that raw file with everything, and then I just carve up my file after in the actual editing program using pre-built templates. So it's a complex process, but man, is it so powerful, and I can do so much more with it and get that Markiplier effect, that's what I'm going to call it. But anyways, let's go ahead and jump into it.
All right, so I've also changed up my audio a little bit. Those balloons are actually getting scraped now because I do have a feed that's just blowing air and hitting those balloons, and they're scraping the ceiling. Oh, that's annoying. But we're going to just leave it for now, so audio might be a little off for this video, but it's more of like an off-the-cuff video anyways. Here is my Final Cut Pro, and how I do these projects now is kind of interesting. This is an actual crypto video over on Chris Titus Crypto, as I kind of dive into some of those projects over there. Usually I do like a compound clip, like something you'd see here, where I'll have this same video source. And let me go ahead and just close this out. We're going to create a whole new video source, and we'll just go Chris Titus Tech, and we'll create a new event, studio tour, So let's go to like Vola OS here, and I'm just going to drop this one file in here. Now you'll see when I pull up this file of the resolution it's in, and what I usually do is drop it in, cancel this out. I don't want to reframe from a 1080p project. And then I usually just go home, do a copy, paste it in, and then just move it up so it's on top of each other. Now I'll have two audio sources. Obviously, they're already synced up, and I'll usually just extract and get rid of one of the audio sources. This one I like to split out, and then I fix the gain in post here. So usually I have pre-built gains where I just say, hey, that's it. I've tweaked this to where I just drag it and drop it onto that one clip. It goes through, cleans up my entire line. So I should have almost perfect audio, which is really, really nice. But you'll still see these two clips. So I also have these two different ones where I have my own color grading LUTs that I've developed, and then I have just a cam, or I can go desktop. It'll just grab the desktop. And what I'll usually do is just do like a cam right here and a desktop right here. And then whenever I want, I could just break this out. Let's say I want to break this out right here, and I can just disable that clip. And then you can see this just kind of scrubbing through the timeline here. You can see it go from that to that. Or let's say I'm on this clip and I want to go ahead and just throw it into a small cam. I can do this and put it in the corner. And then when I'm scrubbing, you can see where it is, but I'm on the wrong side. And the cool thing is I can change that to flipped or not flipped. I can move this around the screen, gives me a lot of things, or I could take that shape. I can increase that radius, decrease it. I can do a lot of different shenanigans with this to increase the effect and freedom of what it does without having multiple sources, because I combine it all into that one ProRes clip. Very powerful, because most people are grabbing usually how I imagine most professional YouTubers do it is they have those multiple files on all these SD cards from 2 or 3 different cam sources, which is a big deal. And if I want a different cam source, I can actually do it live and say, oh, okay, now I got this cam over here. Hey, blah, blah, blah. And then I could either hit my side cam over here, take it off, put it back, whatever I want, all through the Stream Deck as I record. So since I'm the editor, recorder, all that in one, I'm able to develop a way to edit videos that is completely different from anybody else. And also I have a way to produce videos that is completely different from anybody else. And I'm kind of expanding this out to where I'll eventually probably have 3 different camera sources and just buttons to switch between them as I'm recording. And that way I can produce it. I can obviously be the on-screen talent, but then I also have all these other things coupled with a new audio source, which I'm still working on the audio a bit. I have the AC unit in now to where I don't have any sounds of giant window units. So I'm actually using a shotgun mic instead of my traditional SMB7B, which I still have the SM7B over here if I ever want to go to it, or if I wanted to do a podcast, where I might have somebody else sitting in the opposing chair on the other side here. I could sit them down over there. They'd have their mic, I'd have my mic, we could sit down, have an actual conversation, and then I'd have all the camera set up for that, so I could do a whole bunch of different things with this space. But one thing I haven't really shown is that bookshelf. So this shot right here is kind of something that I'm tinkering with, and it's like a rule of 2/3. I never took any filmography or audio classes, any AV stuff. I've just always been the guy that you call to get a server installed. And what I'm doing is just kind of seeing how things are traditionally done and then going, can I do it a different way and can I do it better? But with that said, what do you guys think? Am I just crazy on some of these setups? I know the audio is probably worse like this, but I'm still working on getting that, fine-tuned and just to a perfect level. And some of that's training my voice, some of it's getting some other stuff I didn't even touch, really. On this backside here, right down here, I put a whole new USB interface in for a lot of my audio. So this is probably really rough and probably sounds terrible, but I'm working on it. It's definitely a big shout out to Michael Hathaway for recommending that to me. It's a USB interface, and it's a lot better than what I was using for my mic audio. Still have a lot of fine tuning to go though. But this is kind of like an update video, kind of just showing people a little studio tour, how I'm doing things, how I'm kind of trying to change things to be not just different, but more efficient and have most of the stuff automated to when I'm editing, it's just so much easier. And some of that's just developing my own tools that simply just don't exist, or if they do exist, definitely let me know, because I hate reinventing the wheel. I'd much rather just copy someone else's work or pay someone to give me a template, because that is awesome. But with that said, I'll see you in the next one. Hopefully this was a kind of a quick little behind the scenes. Usually I reserve this for my members over on christitus.com, but yeah, this one I'm just really happy with. And I wanted to kind of also explain why I haven't made very many videos this past week. It's been kind of a little bit low on the production because I've been really hitting a heavy clean and doing a lot of this stuff. I absolutely love it.